Bro, can we talk? Hey, welcome back to another episode of Bro, Can We Talk? I'm joined today by another solid friend of mine. I'm telling y'all, one of the biggest blessings is having so many people that I can reach out to at a moment's notice and they'll give me some advice, pray for me, shoot me a couple dollars. There's nothing like having a multitude of solid people around you. And today we are joined by one of my guys. I was blessed to meet this brother. We were both doing home security, and we connected. Actually, this man is responsible for helping me get my income from the mid 5-figure range to the 6-figure range with some insight and wisdom that he put me on to back in the day. So today I'm joined by my brother, Mr. Andre Banks. Bro, welcome.
Glad to be here, brother.
Yes, sir.
I always appreciate the great introduction. You make me sound better than what I am.
Oh, I didn't even tell the half of it, man. He is a father. He's a husband. He's a manager's manager. He's a leader's leader, and a solid guy. Can we talk, bro?
Well, we always do.
My man. So we actually weren't that close. We were always cool, but we weren't that close. And we had a sales performance contest at our former place of work, of business. And and of all the people in the world, you won 2 all-inclusive tickets to the Super Bowl down in New Orleans.
Yeah.
The Beyonce Bowl, for anybody trying to figure out which bowl it was. Right? Yeah. Beyonce with the pyrotechnics and the Power Outage Bowl.
Between the brothers, the Harbaugh brothers.
The Harbaugh Brother Bowl, aka Ray Lewis's last game.
Right.
So you won 2 tickets, all expenses paid, airfare, hotel, accommodations, and some spending money.
Right.
And of all the people, bro, again, we weren't close. We were cool, but we weren't close. Of all the people in the world, you asked me if I would like to go. And I would have been a damn fool to say no to that. But thank you, man. Thank you for extending that invitation, because that trip, so many things happened on that trip.
Yeah.
That we could talk a whole podcast just stories from that trip alone.
Right.
In fact,
a Detroit hat.
Bro, one after the other, the stories, man. So
yeah,
we are walking back from, were we walking back from the game, or we were just walking
from the casino? I think.
Okay, we were just walking from the casino. Yeah. First of all, shout out to CPI Security.
Oh yeah, they did their thing, man. When
they got the best out of us.
When it was up, it was up. I tell people all the time when I drive past the new building over there, I got 3-4 bricks over there at least with my name on it.
Bro, I say the same thing to myself. I'll be like, yo.
I remember when it was just a hump.
I know for a fact I contributed to that.
Yeah.
So we walking back from the casino, and I got my Tigers hat on. Anybody that knows me, my very first tattoo was the old English D for Damon. Right. Not for Detroit, but just vanity thing, right? And I had my Tigers hat on. Hat was to the back, and out of nowhere, we walking. Hey, Detroit hat.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Hey, Detroit hat. It's that drunk stranger,
right,
trying to get your attention. That guy. And and it was awkward as hell, bro. It went left quick.
And the guy swung the beads, hit me in the face with the
Hey
beads.
Man, my kids are black. All of that shit was a white dude. Hey man, my kids are black. Whoa, sir, that is unsolicited information. We ain't asked for none of
TMI, sir.
There was a lot going on in that trip, man. But Was that the same night? Nah, we was walking back from the game.
From the game when the guy tried to.
We was walking back from the game.
When the
and
guy
this,
tried to rob us.
Hey man, New Orleans is another one of those. It's full of hustlers and scammers. Shout out to New Orleans, man. I love the city of New Orleans. But y'all know it's some scammers down there.
Let's talk about the casino night. Remember how that night started?
Yes.
We were in front of the casino. They got the 3-card Monty.
3-card Monty.
Find the ball.
Let me tell y'all something.
We lost $400 in 30 seconds.
That's no cap. True story. If 3 young men ever walk up to you with a folded piece of cardboard, a makeshift table, if you will, and 3 playing cards, run.
Fast.
Because he doing this to feed his family.
Very fast.
Bruh. He took us quick. Pop, pop, pop.
All right, fellas, get on about your way. You're in the way. Next victim.
Now, the only good thing about that was that we had gotten $500 spending cash before we left Charlotte.
Right.
But it still was our bread because it was in our hand.
Exactly.
Oh man, that hurt. But man, that was an iconic moment, man. That whole trip. I remember sitting in the arena in the stadium when the power went out.
Right.
It's one experience when you watching the Super Bowl at home. Right. You're like, oh shit, the power just went out at the Super Bowl. I've never seen this before.
When you right there.
Now put yourself in our shoes. Not only were we 5 rows from the very top of the building, in my mind, y'all know, prepare for the worst and hope for the best is kind of the mantra. In my mind, bin Laden had not been captured yet. And I'm thinking, oh, they done chose the Superdome.
To blow it up.
They gonna blow it up with me in it. And I'm gonna be the last one out of here. But bruh, just so many stories, man. So many stories. I sobered up real quick in that moment too. Tell you that. When the power goes out in an NFL game, it take all the,
especially the biggest one of the year. The one that count the most.
Right. But yeah, man, that was an iconic trip. Then our flight got delayed. We
was in the airport 14 hours in Newark.
Yeah, we was in Newark for about 14, 19 hours. It was crazy.
Hey, but at least we was in the airport for work, so we ain't have to call out sick.
Yeah,
we was on the clock for those hours.
We got paid for those days. That's real. That's a good time. Yeah. Hey man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you being a faithful friend because relationships get tested anytime there's somebody trying to grow. Anytime you're growing, relationships are going to get tested when other people are not on the same wave, when they're not growing. And it's been tough, man, maintaining some relationships, but I also believe that the phone rings 2 ways.
Yeah.
And so, if you are focused on something, then you shouldn't always have to take your focus off of something to check on your people. Sometimes your people should be checking on you.
Yeah, and that's why I try to make a conscious effort of.
Yeah, you definitely do.
The group of people who I really care about is, even if it's just a simple text, I hit you with my famous line, "Good day, brother."
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the world like for you on your end? How things going?
Yes, sir.
Or I'll just call you, hey man, look, real quick. You was on my mind and I feel like you're going through something, so let me just hit you with these words of encouragement and all right, man, I love you. Hit me back when you can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes we call, we talk, we have a deep conversation, take us 2 hours to be on the phone.
Real talk.
But like you said, with the growth thing, it's like, like I was telling you, was it earlier this week or last week? It's like, so earlier this week, a lot of times we put seeds in the places that we're not supposed to put them. Mm-hmm. And instead of growing good fertile ground, we growing, weeds. and you wondering why your grass not green like the people on the other side of the road.
Real talk.
And a lot of times everybody not supposed to be along for the ride. Some people just like I tell you just meant to sprinkle a little bit of water and keep on walking. You ain't got to stop there and dig up no dirt and plant your seed. Because your seed ain't for everybody.
Sure.
Now your juice can be for everybody because you can share your juice. You can share a word of wisdom. You can clap somebody on. You can entertain certain conversations. But and that's only to a certain extent because you got like energy vampires out there.
Real talk.
You got trauma dumpers that they just looking for somebody to dump their trauma onto, and they never, you get that phone call, hey man, XYZ happened, blah 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 blah. Never, how you doing? What's going on in your world?
The worst part about that is actually not for me because we can be wise enough that we see what it is and move accordingly, adjust. The worst part about it is that those people who are dumping trauma, and that's just their behavior, their cycle, like that's how they operate. The worst part is that they don't see it and they don't see why people are adjusting and moving according. Bro, it's some people right now, man, that come to mind when they've called me and like, bro, as soon as I say hello, bro, man, let me tell you what this MF did. And I'm like, whoa.
You don't even get the hello out. You get the ha, and they just dope right in. You just say ha, and they know it's not a voicemail.
And guess who I'm mad at? I'm mad at myself.
Mad at yourself.
Because I made a decision that maybe this person needs me and I'm going to pick up the phone and be there for them. But now I'm mad at myself because it's the same shit.
Yeah.
And so it just came a point, man, like I can only take so much of that when I'm trying to elevate myself. I'm not trying to separate myself from anybody. I'm trying to elevate to get to the best me.
Right.
But I can't do that if every time I'm there for somebody, yo. So I stopped answering the phone, man. And now,
voicemail, text message is the best friends now.
Word.
I mean, again, and that a lot of times it's not necessarily just friends. Sometimes it's family, people who you really truly love. You have to know when to flip that switch.
Well, thankfully, that's not my my experience. I don't have any family that I'm avoiding intentionally. It's just that's not my experience.
Or you get those friends that those fake, I say that fake motivation friend where they call you, hey man, I see what you're doing, but keep doing what you're doing. And as soon as they get off the phone with you, they call the next person and they talk bad about you. Then that person call you and say, hey man, such and such said this about you. And then when I get that call, my response is always, what did you do to make them comfortable enough to talk about me in your presence without feeling any kind of repercussions gonna happen?
Yo, you said fake friends, and all I could think about was Drake. Early Drake.
Mm-hmm.
When he said fake friends write the wrong answer on the mirror for me. Did you see Slumdog Millionaire?
Yeah.
When old boy was in the bathroom with him and he wrote the wrong answer on the mirror, but old boy knew within himself that was not the correct answer.
Right.
And man, I need to go back and rewatch that movie. But yeah, when you said fake friends, it resonated with me because I mean, I don't want to outwardly call anybody fake, but I can be honest with my experience and how I perceived a certain situation that happened not too long ago.
Right.
So a brother who I hadn't spoken to in some time, we were on the phone and it was a lot of, hey, how's the family doing? How's the kids? What's up with you? This, and this. And I'm going to be honest, man. I didn't like the way the phone call ended because we were on the phone for like 30 minutes, which was a decision on both parties' part, decided to be on the phone for this long. But towards the end of the call, man, I said, oh, by the way, bro, Not sure if you knew this, but the podcast has launched, man, and I would appreciate your support and the reception to what I just said, man. Nah, bro, that ain't it. The brother's response was, "Oh man, I don't really do them podcasts. I don't like."
Well, I mean, but it
But
ain't.
that's like saying I wrote a book and you saying, "Oh man, I don't really read." They can at least purchase the book.
Yeah,
At least go subscribe for your boy. Like if
I don't
that's
even.
my guy, right?
I don't even want it though.
Right.
Once you mentioned it, right? Remember, if your circle
Mm-hmm.
ain't the loudest ones cheering for you,
Come on,
that ain't a circle.
real talk.
You know what I mean? You don't need that because that'll be the same person that'll fake cheer for you, and then the more you grow, they gonna coattail it just enough to get what they want out of you, what they need out of you.
Mm-hmm.
So you should have been
Real
happy.
shit.
You should have shouted. You should have celebrated because in that moment, that person showed you who they were for your journey.
I'm gonna tell you why I didn't celebrate it. Because in that moment, I was too busy mourning.
Right.
Right. I can celebrate it as I heal.
Right.
But in that moment,
Yeah.
I was cut. That was
Yeah.
a wound.
You got some salt? It's going to be difficult on the path that you're on, like I always tell you.
Yeah.
This is not for the weak or the meek.
Yeah, real shit.
At heart. You got to be willing to walk a mile in shoes that nobody want to walk into.
Yeah.
And I mean, day in and day out.
Yeah.
Because you're doing something that most people are afraid to even think about doing, let alone do it.
Real shit.
People fear doing things that aren't safe. You have to learn to be comfortable with the uncomfortable situations. You know what I mean? And most
Real
people
shit.
don't. Because guess what? You're walking really a lonely path.
That's real.
I can't walk the walk with you, but what I can do from the sideline is cheer you on.
Mm-hmm.
Give you some words of encouragement. You need people that's going to speak life into your journey in order for the journey to make sense.
Like when I say this thing been a journey, bro, it's been a journey.
Yeah.
Because it's taken a lot. Every step has been a damn leap. Ain't been no tiptoe baby steps. And so, man, appreciate the support, bro, because like you said, it is a lonely road.
Yeah.
Not alone,
Yeah,
but lonely than a mother.
Exactly. You're not alone, but it's lonely because at the end of the day, no matter how much support you get from me or the people, your family, even your wife, right?
Right.
The people who really holding you down, you still have to look at yourself in the mirror and have a hard conversation with yourself when things don't add up. You look at yourself and say, did I make the right decision? You look at yourself and say, God, what is it that you really want me to do? Am I doing it the right way? And sometimes that answer don't come right away. So you spinning in the head wondering if you made the right turn.
Right.
Did you hurt your family?
100%.
Did you put your livelihood in stake, in danger? It's a hard thing. But at the end of the day, like you said, there's some lessons we learn in life that we have to learn a certain way in order for us to proceed in life.
I fully believe that, bro. Like a lot of things, you don't get the lesson if you don't go the long way.
Nah. There's no shortcut to success, man. Like people,
real talk.
I tell my kids, I tell people who I invest my time in that, ain't no elevators to success. You can be elevated, but ain't no elevator. You gotta remember that. Steps are the only way up. And you gotta do one step at a time. A problem is not a problem. A problem is an opportunity for you to show how great you are as an individual in a particular area of problem solving.
That's real.
I always tell my techs, don't come to me with the problem. Give me solutions to the problem and let's work through it together of how we can solve it.
Everybody not built like that. Everybody want to be a leader until it's time to do what leaders do. Everybody want to be a lion until it's time to hunt.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody ain't built like that, bro. It's just unlearning old mindsets.
Yeah.
taking on the right mindset and seeing yourself as the best version of yourself. You know,
Like
reverse engineering the success you want to see.
exactly like we talked about earlier today.
Yeah.
You subconsciously become whatever you intake too much of.
Mm-hmm.
If you intake too much garbage, you're going to start spewing garbage eventually, subconsciously, just because that's what you intake all day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're not intaking,
you got to be intentional about the
yeah,
subconscious.
the right type of stuff, and putting that right kind of output out, your frequencies got to be the right type of frequencies to attract the things you want in life. You want that beautiful woman? What kind of aura are you putting off as a man?
It's real.
You want to be a leader? What are you showing the world that you can do?
Mm-hmm.
You can't
It's
be a
real.
leader when you're running from the situations to lead. You know,
It's real.
can't run from responsibility. You can't run from failure. Failure is a part of the course.
When tough times happen, man, when tragedy strikes, that's when leaders are identified. Who steps up
You know,
and rights the ship.
and I don't like to call myself. I never try to call myself a boss. I try to be a relatable human being
Mm-hmm.
in uncomfortable situations.
Mm-hmm.
I try to be a calming solution to people who have problems, I guess what you would call it. Because that's what you really are as a good leader. You're providing guidance to others who can't think in a time of turmoil.
True.
You have to tap into something to make them realize that they can do it. So, like you talked about one of the late great Stephen Blackwell earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I
Rest in
knew,
peace, Blackwell.
Blackwell was really good at was he would challenge you to do something without you even knowing he challenged you. I remember one time he called you, "Hey, Dame, I got this other install. I know you done did two today. I got a other one, and such and such did three last week. But I told him you can do four today." And you was like, "You know what? Give it to me."
I don't remember that.
You did it, and I laughed because I saw what he did to you.
He played me, but he challenged me.
He challenged you in a way that you
Yeah.
accepted the challenge.
Yeah.
And
Damn, I don't remember that, man. I was just working, bro.
That's what you do as a leader, because you were focused, and that's
Real
the
talk.
mindset.
Real talk.
When your team is focused, because he had never led you in a bad way,
Mm-hmm.
you were able to go do what he needed you to do.
Fully trusted.
And that's what you do as a leader. You earn the trust of your people.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's good, man.
And that's as a husband, you want to be a leader of your household to where your wife and your family trust you with whatever the decisions are.
Fully.
Without a hesitation. They don't doubt you. They like, okay, if you say that's what it is, that's what it is.
That's real.
And that's one of the things in life I think we miss as people, as a culture, as a community. But in order for me to get to where I am now, I had mentors. I was a great follower before I was a great leader.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I followed the right people with the right mindset to help me grow, who challenged me.
A lot of people don't have the right mindset of themselves, and therefore they're leading their families the wrong way. They're leading other people. They're leading organizations the wrong way. But it all starts with me. It all starts with the you, the inner you, and working on that. What was one of the lowest points that you can look back on and say that was good for me that happened?
One of the lowest of the lows for me was being basically banished to South Carolina and all the texts laughing at me. Ha ha, you can't come to the North Carolina side.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was, how am I going to feed my family? And I remember the first paycheck I got after my suspension happened, while I was going through my appeal, after taxes and everything, and I had just got put on child support.
Mm-hmm.
I brought home a check of $105 for a full 2 weeks worth of pay. Who am I going to feed with $105?
Yikes.
$105 is what I brought home for my wife, my kids, my stepkids at the time. That's when you know if the person you with really got your back or not, when you bring home $100 paycheck.
Word up.
That's tough. And it was at that moment where I said, I got to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked up a part-time job delivering pizza, you know, but then also it forced me to hone my skill of maximizing my efforts on the main job.
And when you say your license was suspended, we talking about your alarm
My
license.
alarm license,
Yeah, not your driver's
not my
license.
driver's license.
Just want to clear that up.
My alarm license in the state of North Carolina was suspended while I
Mm-hmm.
was under a review
Mm-hmm.
for a background issue
Yep, I
that
remember.
happened years ago.
Yep.
So I was cleared, everything was good, but when they go through the review and they say, "Oh, we found something," and you have to present it, and you have to wait till your court date.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just present it
Right.
right there, even though you got all the certified paperwork. I had to wait 6 months for my court date to go to the alarm board in Raleigh. And for me at that point, that was when I honed my skills of the upsell, as we called it. Remember, we made the upsell team chat, group
Yeah,
email,
yeah,
group text messages.
yeah.
So that's when I kind of was honing my skill in South Carolina. Like, okay, how can I make more money? Okay, oh, you missing this, you missing that. So I
Mm-hmm.
was enhancing people's systems just so for me it was a need because I needed to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So out of that desire to eat came a skill that I had to develop to survive. So I was forced into making a skill, becoming a better technician in ways that I didn't know I could be until I was put through the ringer.
And it was a teachable skill.
Yeah.
Because you definitely transferred that thing.
Yeah.
You said, hey man, closed mouth don't get fed.
Yeah. And
Boom.
then, it was
Run the
you, it
play.
was a couple other guys I put onto it. And, I was like, hey, I can't tell you how you need to do it. But what I can tell you is I'm doing XYZ and I'm saying ABC. You got to put your own spin to it.
Yeah.
And you got to make it comfortable for you. Don't make it uncomfortable because then they're going to be like, well, you don't sound confident.
Bro was selling the hell out of them carbon monoxide detectors. He
Hey,
give a damn about all them windows with no contacts. We're going to sell these carbon monoxides because this is my lane.
you know why? At the time, what did they cost? $165.
Yeah.
And we got 10%.
Yeah.
So it was $16.50 for each one I sold.
Yeah.
For window contacts, we only got $7.
Simple math.
Simple math. And I made sure it was wireless because I ain't got to run no wires.
Real talk. Because who's doing that?
2 screws,
Bop, bop.
3 batteries.
Little test. We good.
And if it was a multi-level house, I was doing that. And I may add a smoke detector here and there.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's icing on the cake.
Already.
And
that was our most expensive piece of equipment at the time.
Yeah.
Outside of the cameras.
Outside of the cheap ass cameras.
Yeah. It was because at the time those even cost more than the door lock.
Shout out to them cheap cameras, man. Listen, I'm the only one that had the stones to complain about the pay. Management looked at me and said, "You making more money than everybody in that room. Why are you complaining?
Right.
Because it ain't right."
Right.
I'm gonna step up and say something about it. It ain't right.
Just like I complained about how we only getting $23 for a service call, $18 for a service call.
Bruh.
And we moved it up to 20, and the guys in Hickory make it 23.
Man, we made a lot of money for them people, man. But I'm thankful for all of that because it taught me, you have to have a plethora of good and bad experiences to form your own knowledgeable, educated opinion on something. When you see that the agitation was purposeful, then you can look back at those tough days, those tough times, and laugh.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you just hit on something that just kind of triggered a thought in my head. You say we have good times, bad times, tough times, good leaders, bad leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand. I never understood. Maybe when I was younger, I know I did this when I was younger. But now that I'm a little older and more mature, why do we feel the need to try to throw it back in those bad leaders' face that I can do better without you? instead of just letting your work and your life speak for itself.
Mm.
Because whether you believe it or not, those bad leaders are the ones who pushed you into being great.
Real talk.
Because they did you so wrong or so bad that you said, I'm never going to be, if I'm ever in a position blessed with that, I will never treat people that way. Even just in life, right? Oh, I'm going to go get this bigger car than you get because I want to outdo you. Or I'm going to go to this store. I'm going to go to Louis Vuitton and then I know they don't want me in there, but I'm going to show you I can afford it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we all guilty of it at times with certain things. Be mindful of doing that because, you know, I know some people that did that and it almost cost them a bag, a real bag.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people that they were able to recover from it, but don't try to show out to impress somebody who don't care anything about you to where you're trying to prove a point that it causes you to lose the reason why you should be doing what you're doing anyway, which is to take care of your family.
If you think somebody's concerned or talking about you now, lose everything.
And see how much of the topic of conversation you're gonna become.
Hot topic.
You see what happened to Dre? Man, he was all up here doing that, taking them trips, doing this and that, and now look at him. He out here on the corner begging for $5. He working at the factory making $2 an hour.
Signed with Fell Off Records.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, that's real, man.
And people pray for that for you, which is bad. You know, people pray for your downfall. They looking for it.
So what is it, man? Why do seeking validation? I just answered my own question before I got the question out, but
seeking validation from the wrong people.
Yeah.
You should want to be validated by God, your wife, and your children.
Yeah.
In that order.
Yeah. Real talk.
Because please God, you'll get all the fruits that you desire.
Real talk. And ultimately, everybody you name is already proud of me, right?
Yeah.
My mama already proud of me. My daddy already proud of me. My wife, my daughter, like, them people already proud of me.
Yeah. You put a lot of unneeded and unwanted stress on yourself trying to convince others that you're something that they don't think you are. If you don't think I am who I am, that's perfectly fine with me. Mm-hmm. As long as I know who I am, that's what matters. Mm-hmm. As long as my wife knows she can depend on me,
that's it.
That's what matters.
That's it.
My kid can call me at 2 a.m. and get what they need from me. That's what matters.
That's real.
Not some manager who I'm getting ready to leave his job. I put in my notice and they want to downplay my situation. Mm-hmm. You know, I had a guy tell me to my place. The same guy I was talking about with the, you know, the situation where I helped him. I was going to help him build the alarm part of their company. When I gave him my notice to go to the job I'm at now, we were sitting in the car riding to a customer site. His wife was the head of HR, calls his wife, says, oh yeah, call such and such and such and tell him we have $120,000 budget to work with and see if that'll entice him to come over.
The same money they said they couldn't give
The same money they said they couldn't give me.
Wow, bro.
But the thing was, he didn't get the satisfaction from me that he wanted. Mm-hmm. He wanted me to react in that moment. He wanted me to have an outburst in that moment.
People will try you, bro.
And I just looked and I listened to the call. I rode in the car with him, went to the customer site, did my job.
Yeah.
Kept it professional. And at the end of the day, when he dropped me back off to my vehicle, because we were riding in the company vehicle together.
Yeah.
You know, I shook his hand. I said, hey, man, have a good day. He's like, yeah, you too. And I told him, I said, hey, I hope that guy accepts your offer, man. Sounds like you got a nice qualified candidate for the position.
High road leadership. That's what that is, bro.
And he looked at me and with such a pale look on his face, he was shook. To the point where the next day when I came in, he's like, hey, we're just going to make today your last day. Because he knew he couldn't break me or my spirit. And when you get to that level of maturity, that's when you won.
Real talk.
Not the I'm going to beat on my chest to show you I can do it.
Real talk.
Because now you look like a fool. Now you look like a stupid nigga. And that's what they want you to look like.
Ah, good stuff, man. Good stuff.
You know, and that's what we have to get away from as a people, or just people in general, as a manhood or women or whatever, you know, because it's like, you know, you see all this stuff with men and women and certain things, and who are you seeking validation from? Another man or the woman you chasing after?
Right.
You know, when you see women do all the extra makeup, lashes, BBLs, all that, yeah, it's nice and pretty, but am I going trying to take that home forever?
Right.
You know,
Listen, I feel like women do all of that to impress other women, man.
that's
Cause
that's my point. I'm saying, and we do, you know, all of our chest pumping and certain things we do that women ain't even interested in.
yeah,
We do that to try to make another man think we are better than them or we got more than them. When really and truly, we should be uplifting each other and making it easier for us to get along in life.
bro, can we talk? Building community, man.
Yeah, you know,
Building
and
community. That's what's missing, man.
yeah,
We got our values all twisted up,
I,
and like you said, we've all been guilty of it to a degree,
and
man.
you know, and there's nothing wrong with trying to do things, have nice things. We're not saying that,
Sure, no.
you know, and that's
But
people need to understand there's a difference,
what's your motivation?
right?
What's your motivation for? That's what matters,
What
man.
was the old saying they used to say back in the day? Oh, I'm finna stun on these niggas.
Right. They gonna see me.
You know, I'm finna stun on these boys. You
They
know,
gonna see me. Yeah.
how many times you heard that term? I'm a stun on these fools. They made
Yeah.
a song about it. I'm the number one stunner.
What?
You know?
Yeah, man. Going forward, man, the culture we need to be talking about developing the leader within, and just being more responsible, man. More responsible with our influence, bro. Because I'm concerned about our sons and daughters' generation, bro. It's still that's still the culture is stunting on each other, and my son-in-law is a teacher over at the high school, and these kids, he's telling me these kids are coming to school with designer clothes and like, why, how, and why, and who is funding this foolishness?
You know what?
Who is buying these kids $400 jeans and
The parents work hard for these kids, man.
man,
They work for these
shit,
kids.
if I would, bro, that's retarded.
You know, I got a right now, the reason why I'm up here is for a job. And the guy I got up here with me is the youngest person on my team.
Okay.
21 years old.
Okay.
Young white kid. You know, grew up in urban environment. You know, he doesn't need to work. Like his family is well off.
Okay.
For all intents and purposes, he's a 21-year-old millionaire. But he works for me, comes to work. I can call him right now and say, "Hey, the delivery on the way. Meet me at the site." And he'll be like, "Okay, I'll be there."
Mm-hmm.
You heard him at dinner. He called me and said, "Hey, come out here to we barbecuing at the hotel. Come out here and hang out with us." He has a "I want it so bad" mentality when most people who have the background that he has,
Mm-hmm.
they won't have that same mentality. He still lives at home. He has a job traveling. He's making good money working for me. But his dad company is, you know, a company that's a partner company of ours, and they make good money.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's in line to take over that business in 5 to 10 years. Lives in like a $2 million house.
But he hungry to prove himself.
Yeah,
That's what's up, man.
you know, and seeing that, you know, it really inspires me that, you know, there, even though he's, and it's not a race thing, it's just a generation thing because we talked about that generation.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some in that generation that are hungry and want it, but like, you know, one of my sons getting ready to go to college and play football, and I was talking to my wife about this. I really hope he can transition because in that change from being a senior in high school to being the man, now you're a freshman and you on a scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
And your job is to take these other boys' job.
Mm-hmm.
Their job is to show you you can't have my job. So you better come with it. If you think you're gonna take my spot, you better come with it.
Every day.
7 days a week, twice on Sunday, you better come with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you take my spot, they mean they're gonna reduce my scholarship money and give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
You taking food out of my mouth.
Real talk, bro.
And kids don't understand. I think one of the worst things that happen to kids from a competitive nature, and I see it when I'm interviewing these guys,
Yeah.
they feel as if though you owe them something just because they showed up. And I had to tell a guy in an interview,
The entitlement.
this is not a participation award. You don't get points for participating, just for showing up. You actually have to come here and do something. And you think about it, 15, 20 years ago, they put participation trophies in everything. The kids got an award just for showing up. Oh, I'm on an 8th place team. They get a trophy too. That's not how it is in life.
Heck no.
You go to your manager and you get your review for your pay raise,
You ain't cutting it.
you gonna get the bare minimum just for showing up. But that guy over there who's been coming to work, finding more ways to make us money, being extra productive, oh, he gonna get $1 or $2 while you gonna get 20 cents. And I think that's one of the things that kill the mindset of, like, people think just for showing up, I didn't get a big enough raise and all I did was show it up. Well, what did you do? Show me how you impacted the growth of the company.
So you hit on something, bro. You said, 15 years ago was when the participation trophy was introduced to the sports culture. Being a teenager is already an entitled age, an entitled time in a kid's life. I definitely had some entitlement that I had to get over. But yeah, you add to that participation, like these kids that we talking about were raised on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. You get
Bro, when we was kids, we used to watch the other team. If we didn't win, we watched the other team.
You had to sit there and cry. You sat there and cried because you licked your wounds, because that's how you came back to know you need to work harder.
Real talk.
Not you get beat by 60. Oh,
not 60. Damn.
And here you go. It's an 8-team league, and the number 8 team get the same size trophy as the number 1 team.
Nah, make that make sense. That's crazy.
How? Because in this thing in life, the number 8 person ain't getting the same amount of money as the number 1 person on your sales team, on your install team.
Real talk.
On your line production workers. The number 8 person is not going to be introduced to the same opportunities as your top 2 people.
Yeah, man, that's good, bro. So, man, I appreciate you coming through, man.
Always, man.
I definitely appreciate you coming through, because these are the same conversations that we have over the phone, man. But it's dope to get it to translate on the camera, man, for the show. Any words of wisdom?
I guess I go back to my LinkedIn quote. You got to feed your inner wolf. And what that means is whatever your heart desires, you have to feed yourself more of that. You have to eat the things that you want the world to know that you are. You can't be something that you have not practiced to be. You can't just go out there and regurgitate something that somebody else said and think that's going to be who you are to the world. You can have all these nice fancy quotes. You can say all these nice cool things. You can have all these nice fancy items. But deep down inside, when you look in the mirror, can you say you are who you want to be?
You gotta feed your inner wolf. Before we get out of here, we have a tradition at Bro Can We Talk where the previous guest has left a question for you. And that question is, what have you experienced in your life that you can give another brother some wisdom on to keep them from going into that pit?
I had a situation where I felt like everything I worked for was taken from me, and it was. I was on top of the game, making $120,000+ a year as a technician, and because I didn't want to conform to something they wanted me to, that was taken away from me, and I was basically blackballed out of, I would say, my hierarchy in the company.
So what would your advice be then to somebody?
Be a man of principle, be a man of character, and be a man of faith, because people will come after you and attack your character and try to make you be what they want you to be, or conform to something they want you to conform to, try to make an example for others, to show, hey, if we could take this guy who was the top dog and make him to nothing, what do you think we'll do to you? But the thing was, you couldn't break me, and I wasn't going to let you break me. I took it with grace. I kept going.
It's good stuff.
And you got to have strong, belief in yourself when things like that happen, because it'll break you.
If you could say one thing or ask one thing to the next brother, the next guest, what would that question be?
At what point does your spiritual health become the substance or the fabric of your mental health, so you're not having all these outbreaks mentally.
It's good.
You
It's
know,
good.
at what point does that happen?
Yeah. Bro, I want to thank you for sitting down with me and being a part of this podcast. More than that, I want to thank you for being a part of my life, being a part of my circle. Man, I know that, I'll only go as far as the capacity of the relationships that are closest to me. And so I don't take it for granted, bro. I really do appreciate the value that you add to me as a human being, because it's that saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, you know. And I don't want to be the one who, as J. Cole said, the good news is you came a long way. The bad news is you went the wrong way. The Bible says that there is wisdom in a multitude of counselors. And so I just want to make sure, man, that I always have people that I trust around me in my ear, bro. So I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate the invite. I appreciate giving the opportunity to kind of share a little bit of my story, because you've been a part of that for the past, 12 years, 13 years now? You
Yeah,
know,
13 years.
so, and like you said, it's just a little snippet of my life, but for me, it's one of the best snippets of my life.
So
Appreciate,
far, because the
yeah,
best is yet to come.
that's right. That's why I
Real
say
talk.
well, I've experienced the best, but I know it's better.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate being, a part of the podcast and part of the whole Bro Can We Talk movement. It's great to see it from being just a group chat to Facebook group to now it's a podcast. And, I've been supporting you every step of the way, and I'm gonna keep on supporting you and cheering for you. And right back to you, I appreciate you being in my life and the value you bring to my life, because there's been nights where I've been stressed and I call you at 1 in the morning when you prayed for me and put some blessings on me and some things on me. And you gotta have that in your life. As men, we gotta have that. We don't always have the outlet we need to have, and you can't always outlet to your significant other because they won't understand where you're coming from.
Right. Right. So any brother out there that's watching this, any sister out there, white, black, Asian, Hispanic, whatever, Bro Can We Talk is um, a community that is built on accountability, empathy, servant's heart. Like, these are core principles of who I am. These are core principles of anything that I put my hands to. And so at the end of the day, man, all men are welcome to sit at the table, because at the end of the day, if we can agree on, we're not going to agree on everything as individuals, but if we can agree on these core things that are wrong with our society, these core things that are still fixable amongst men and the culture, then I really believe that we can change the world together. And I definitely cannot do it by myself. I don't want to do it by myself. And I implore you to join this community, man. So, a couple of housekeeping things. October 12th, Charlotte, North Carolina. Save the date. There will be a Bro Can We Talk in-person event. More information is coming up on that. So save the date, October the 12th. That is the second Saturday in October. Second housekeeping thing. If you or somebody you know would like to become a sponsor of Bro Can We Talk, then I need you to send me an email to Damon, DAMON, at brocanwetalk.com, and let me know that you are interested in sponsorship, and I'll get some information out to you regarding that. And right now is the best time, as the platform is relatively young. Now is the best time for us to lock in some good rates for you. So let me know if that's something you're interested in. And then the last thing, like we always do, we close this thing out by saying, stay curious, stay engaged, and keep the conversations going. Bro, can we talk? Appreciate you, my guy.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. Love you, man. Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Bro, can we talk?